Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. This is our NFL edition, and we got a bunch of people that are going to talk a lot of pro football. We're going to get into a couple of good games, Rams and Bears, Falcons and Chargers. Chip Chirimbes is here. Jim Feist is here. We'll talk with Fairway Jay in a little bit, as well as Jeff Sod. I want to throw something at you guys, though, right out of the gate. We didn't talk about this beforehand. We know what games we're talking about, but this is an off the cuff. Obviously we're having issues with the replacement referees. We found out that the NFL did a lousy job of back-checking these guys. We've had some guy who worked Seattle practice games, was slated to actually work a Seattle game. You've got a guy who's got New Orleans. He's obviously a Saints fan. He's got it all over Facebook wearing Saints stuff, and he's assigned to a Saints game. And he didn't call. And here's what's interesting. This is what brings up the question. Chris Mortensen is the one who actually brought that to the NFL's attention. The guy himself didn't, which tells me there's a little worry here. And that immediately triggered something else in my mind. These are part-time guys who aren't making that much money to do this. They know they're going to get fired. The NFL should really be worried about a rogue official or two betting on these games. I mean, it is absolutely conceivable. And for them not to be factoring this into this equation, to me, is sheer negligence on the part of the NFL. Comments?
Well, I think Roger Goodell has done an absolutely horrendous job here. Horrendous. I don't know how many times I can say that. Well, he talks about the integrity of the game and about injuries, protecting the players. This is bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. For the amount of money that this league makes, to allow what happens on the field, what's happening on the field, is ridiculous. I imagine this man is taking directive from somebody. I don't think he's all got God power that he just does what he wants to do. But whatever is going on upstairs in the NFL needs to be changed. And I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted they've allowed this to happen.
Well, it's a horrible situation, without a doubt, especially if you have to check the credibility of the officials. But let me say this, having been an official on a number of different sports myself, we're all fans of something growing up. I mean, some guy grew up a Saints fan, some is a Giant fan. It doesn't matter. You don't lose that fan. This is where your integrity as an official comes in. I did college basketball games. I did baseball. I did football games. And whether you're a teacher, most say in high schools and colleges, those guys came from different universities. Those guys are the officials are usually, Dave, you might remember, I mean, these guys are high school teachers that work on different schools, and yet they got to go in and officiate schools that are in the same conference, sometimes the school they're teaching at, and their personal integrity should not be impugned. In these situations here, again, where Dave put up the point, if you're going to allow gambling on these games, and there are gambling, they should be vested a little bit stronger. They really should be vetted. You should look and see who you're getting in here, because I know the NFL does do financial checks on their regular referees. They do all kinds of stuff on them to make sure that they won't be tempted. I don't know how deep they went in this situation with these guys and gals, because I guess there's women coaching there now. But, when it comes down to, Dave, whether it's you, me, or Jim, it comes to your personal integrity in a game, whether you're a fan of that team or not. Having a bet on that game totally changes the whole aspect of it. And it's one of the reasons I got out of college officiating. I was moving up in the college level, but then all of a sudden, I don't want anyone to be concerned about, do I have a wager on this game? I had to make a choice. I came into the handicapping industry, and I forsake that part of my career. And, let the chips fall where they may, but this is not a good situation for the NFL. The sooner they get it rectified, the better, and the more satisfied everyone's going to be, because, now the rumors and now the words are really starting to surface, and people are starting to find out it's okay for 2 weeks to get away with a few mistakes. But, not knowing the rules, you have to know the rules if you're going to officiate a game. So NFL's got to step up soon. They got to come to the plate and do something.
Well, one thing we do
know. One more thing there. I'd like to add something else. We're talking about whether there's potential of fixing games, shaving points, making sure your team covers or wins because you have a wager on it. And that's always a possibility. Let's face it, we have a lot of people in this country that are out of work. They've lost their homes. A lot of people are underemployed. There's a lot of financial stress out there for people. So those kind of possibilities are there all the time, whether it be regular officials or replacement officials. But the integrity of the game, who's winning the game on the field, is now being questioned. I have a strong suspicion that because of some bad calls last week, we had wrong winners. And I'll point at one game specifically, Baltimore and Philadelphia. I thought the Ravens should have won that game. I thought there was some very bad calls and missed calls. There's a lot of missed calls as well. So we talk about the bad calls. There's bad missed calls as well. So the integrity of the game over and above shaving points or fixing games is now in question. So I don't know if I had a person run, and I've owned a lot of businesses, if I had a person that allowed this to happen in one of my companies, the thing is I don't know who's in charge here. Yeah. But if the boss of all the bosses are saying, okay, this is what we want because we want to save some dollars and show we're the stronger kid on the block, screw the union, screw the officials, but I would not have that person working for me, whoever made this decision, to allow this to happen.
All right. Well, one thing we don't have to hide on this show is that we do bet on the games. It's fun and it can be profitable as well. We've got some great special offers to tell you about this weekend. Chip, let's start with you. Another good Saturday in the NFL. Notre Dame, right there as the Megabucks play. What do you got this weekend?
Well, like I said, Saturday we had the big winner with Notre Dame over Michigan State. Saturday night hit 2 of 3, including Utah. Sunday came back with our NFL home advantage game of the year. Seattle routs the Cowboys 27-7. Now I'm going to give you another opportunity to get my NFL major shocker game of the year, along with Thursday night's play, a triple header Saturday, everything through Monday for only $19. Dave, we're hitting over 67% in the NFL so far this season, coming off a huge run in college football as well. The big games and the big money are there, and the big game players coming through for everyone. So give me a call, $19, 866-841-1665. Get you everything through Monday, including this NFL Major Shocker Game of the Year. We had the Rams the first opening week as a Major Shocker. Last week we had another Major Shocker winner, and they just keep coming. So we're looking to go 3-0, and this one's the strongest of them all. So give me a call, 866-841-1665. $19 takes you right through Monday, and I got a big Monday night winner for you as well.
Jim, NFL's been working really well for you so far. Another 2-0 on the big stuff on Sunday with the Rams and the over in the Ravens-Eagles game. No sweat there. And looks like more big stuff coming up this weekend.
I was sweating a little bit in that Rams game when they were down by about 20 points. But they did come back and win the game and cover. So it's nice to have an underdog straight-up winner and cover the spread. And the Ravens-Eagles game went over. I've been doing real well on my totals as well. The high rollers have been red hot. I have a pair of high roller platinum winners, plays that usually sell for $500 a piece. They're online right now, and you can get them, both of them, for $29. That's right, $500 a piece. That's $1,000 for $29. This is special, and you just call 1-866-841-1655. $29 gets you those two big plays. I also have high roller platinum parlay going on Saturday in college football. $29 for those as well. So if you sign up early, you'll also get a bonus, a high roller bonus going tonight, right now. Just make the phone call, 1-866-841-1655.
I had a monster weekend.
Dave, I gotta say something about what you've been doing.
Oh.
Red hot.
Yeah,
I mean, steaming red hot. Yeah, it's really hot, man.
That's me knocking on wood, because this is fun. I want to keep it going. If you played all my service games in football last week and you went 13-2, that's pretty good. And the big stuff got there. I blew Bowling Green. That's the only game of note that didn't get there. So I'm just exceptionally. Oh, yeah, I missed Ohio State as well, and that was a bad play. Actually, the Big Ten's awful this year, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, it was just great. No need to dwell on it. We're going to keep it rolling this weekend. I've got an under the hat triple header parlay. That's right, 3 big games in college football, all under the hat plays, which means they go out to every one of my personal service players. And you're going to get them all for $15. 3 big games for $15. Also, I'm going to include, for the first 100 people that sign up, a high roller bonus play going tonight. So you definitely want to be in on that. This is all for $15. Make sure to take advantage now. 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Okay, Rams and Bears. We get it rolling. Chip, the Bears. Look, there has to be some concern over what's going on off the field because of the dissension, again, involving Jay Cutler's apparent inability to lead this team at times. I think that's when it happens one time or twice, not a big deal, but when it keeps on happening over and over again, eventually this stuff can start to tear apart a team.
Yeah, I really wonder what's going on there, Dave. I mean, when he missed the playoff game way back, everyone had his back, and they were saying you don't know how hurt he was or what the problem was, and the locker room seemed to support him. And I know I was furious that a player of his caliber would take himself out of a game of that importance. And yet they all seem to protect him. They come back, they win opening week against the Colts easily after falling behind. And, last week, when they lost on Thursday night, Dave, I just think that was a spot where the Packers really that's a big rivalry game for them. They may have even looked past the 49ers slightly. I don't know how you do that, but they opened with the 49ers and the Bears. They were manhandled by the 49ers. They come back, and they manhandled the Bears, sacking Cutler 7 times. Well, now they come home, and they're really playing a weak sister. Rams are 2-0 against the points. I think the Rams are in trouble here. I know that the numbers been coming down, and people have been grabbing a little bit of Ram money early on. But I think this is a situation where the defense and the Bears, if they're going to come together and be a team, this is a spot for them to run over the Rams. I think this is also a game where St. Louis, after having a big matchup with Bradford and RG3, and them coming from behind and winning the way they did, I think the Rams are in a spot psychologically to be in trouble here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bears win this game handily and really take St. Louis out early.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, Jim. Does all this stuff involving Chicago maybe influence the line to the point where the Bears aren't laying as many as they should be?
Well, let's take a look at what the line movement's been on this game. The game is still circled for some reason. There's obviously some injury issues that we know he's out.
Yep.
I mean, that's a known Jackson. Steven Jackson is an issue. Yeah, that is a big issue.
I think he's going to play.
Yeah. The game opened 8. You see this in the lines out here in Las Vegas now, in case nobody really knows about this, but there's what they call bookmakers protecting themselves against teasers. And you'll see a couple places will put up a 9 on a game where it should be 7 or 7.5. And the reason they're doing that is that they're making it harder for the player to come in and take a 6-point teaser and knock it down to like 1 or 1.5. Well, when you see a 9 where the game is really 7.5, which this one is, that's what that's all about. So the real number is 7.5 on this game. Chip, I respect what your opinion is, but I have no idea what the ramifications are of the Cutler fiasco. Cutler is obviously not a great leader. I think he's I think he has a fabulous arm. I think he's better than most quarterbacks from a physical ability standpoint. What goes on emotionally between his ears, I'm not too sure. It doesn't appear that he has it all together there. But I understand his frustration. This is a team game. I was not a big Mike Martz fan. He coached the Rams when they were, they had that offense that actually worked. There was a different time. They replaced him Mike Tice. I don't think that was a good move, personally. What they needed to do in the offseason was to shore up this offensive line. So when you start to point fingers at people, if they shored up the offensive line, Cutler wouldn't be on his back 7-8 times a game and potentially getting knocked out and crippled and never play again. So I'd be pissed off too, because this is my career and I could still play another 10 or 12 years, but you guys are going to get me killed. So I'd be mad too. I don't blame him for that. What I do blame him for is his immature way of handling it. But I pointed to coaches. When you have a head coach and an offensive coach and an offensive line coach, I should say an offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, then they're not doing their job, I'd be pissed too. Especially when I have a team that potentially could get to the Super Bowl. Now, when they lose Forte, they lose a lot. But they do have some backups. And I have a lot of respect for the talent on the Chicago Bears team. I just don't know where they're coming from. But I will say this about St. Louis. They're going to play tough. They're going to play tough all year. They changed their coaching situation. They're not going down the field with the big bombs. They've got a more manageable offensive game. I think the Bears could be the one that's in trouble here, because they've got to get their head back together and get on the field, because they were totally embarrassed. St. Louis, with Jeff Fisher is a known winner. He's been around a long time. If you take the two head coaches of these two teams, and you ask me to start a team, I'm going with Jeff Fisher. That's where I'm headed. So I got to look at this and say, I got the better coach, I got a team on the ascending, and I got a team that may be going backwards. And if they don't get their head together right, they lose this game straight up on the field.
All right. Good stuff. Good discussion. Before we get to our question of the week, let's check in with our man on the street, and that is Jeff Side from LVSS. Jeff?
Thanks, Dave. You can play through Monday Night Football with me for $15. It includes Thursday's Giants versus Panthers matchup, plus a college conference game of the year on Saturday, and Sunday's NFL Parlay of the Month. I started the season with a 4-0 Sunday in the NFL, so get on board. Just call 1-866-575-8916. All this is just $15, 1-866-575-8916. Your free total comes from Week 3. It's the Rams with the Bears. I gave you the Bears Colts over as a free pick in Week 1, and we'll come back with Chicago on total again. The Bears got pushed around at Green Bay last week. The offensive line was awful, but they've had extra time to prepare. Plus, they come home. Chicago passing game is vastly upgraded with a healthy Jay Cutler and new wide receivers Ashton Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall. Speaking of healthy quarterbacks, the Rams have healthy Sam Bradford, but the defense is a concern, giving up 355 yards passing last time they played a strong passing team, a 27-23 loss to the Lions. This is a low total, but look for a higher scoring game than odds makers expect. Play the Rams-Lions Week 3 over the total. And once again, you can play through Monday Night Football with me for just $15. It includes Thursday's Giants versus Panthers contest, plus a college conference game of the year on Saturday, and Sunday's NFL Parlay of the Month, all just $15. Call 1-866-575-8916.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Knock 'em dead again this weekend. It's our Twitter question of the week. Follow us on Twitter at Jim Feist Sports, or on Facebook at Proline TV. If we use your question on the show, we put you in a draw to win $100 worth of plays from any handicap of your choice. Bill Stafford of Buffalo, New York. My Bills can score but can't stop anyone. A great team for overs. What do pro handicappers look for with totals? Well, Jim, you, some people would call you the dean of totals. It's something you've been involved in for a long, long time and been very good at. Any specifics that you look for out of the gate?
Well, out of the gate, it's pretty easy coming out of the gate, because you're usually way ahead of the bookmaker, odds maker, as to what you can see in these games. What we're going to start to see is adjustments. We're going to see the bookmakers making adjustments. This game, Buffalo is at Cleveland this week. They're 2.5, open 2.5. They're up to 3. Most places 3. And the line opened 43.5, 44. It's pretty well settled at 43.5. This game, that's a rather low total in today's environment. when you go down the board and you'll see other games, lined at 52, 51, maybe even 53 or 54, which I saw some of that on the Monday night game. So looking at this game specifically, this game looks too low. Now we're making this tape today. It's Wednesday, and this game is on Sunday. So you have to be careful. Cleveland is right on the lake. Weather conditions can affect this a lot. Wind, rain. I mean, the weather isn't too bad right now, but you got to get closer to game time to know what's going on there. Whedon came back with a better passing game. He was more effective game 2. Kansas City made Atlanta look really good. And then if you look at this, I have an overview in my mind of all these teams. I live, breathe, and sleep this stuff. Atlanta, to me, looked sick on Monday night. I thought they were poorly coached. They won the game. They covered the spread. But when you're given 3 or 4 turnovers and first downs and penalties that all work in your favor, and you're only up small, they should have had 28 points when they had 10. And that, to me, goes to coaching. They had the team down. They should have buried them. When you have a coach that doesn't know how to bury somebody, you got to look at them differently. If that was Belichick, it'd have been 28-0. That's the difference with a Mike Smith, who's a good, solid coach, but he's not a killer. He doesn't have the killer instinct in him. That's a big difference. Now, we'll get back to the totals here. If I see Whedon throwing the ball like he did last week, and I don't see Buffalo throwing up a lot of defense to stop much. I think they were way overrated. I overrated them. They have the talent, but somehow they're missing something. When they got manhandled and made the Jets look like the best offense in the league in week 1, after being totally prepared in the preseason, offseason, that's poor coaching. And the fact they beat up Kansas City means absolutely nothing, because Kansas City has shown 2 very bad games. So I look at this game, if the weather isn't bad, I like this game over the total, because both teams are going to move the ball a lot more than people give them credit for. Misleading factor. Cleveland's defense last year looked really good. Why? Because nobody really had to score against them, because their offense couldn't put up any points. So when you got them down 14-0, you can just sit on the ball, run the clock out, because you know they can't get a touchdown. So those kind of statistics are BS, and you got to throw them out the window.
Good stuff. All right, before we get to the Falcons and Chargers, let's check in with our other man on the street, Fairway Jay, and he has a free NFL play. Fairway?
Thanks, Dave. We have a free total on the Jets-Dolphins game coming up, but first, we took advantage of the soft totals we see in September last week. 2-0 with our football totals. We nailed the NC State game under the total on Saturday. We talked about our NFL totals game of the month. We had the winner in the Chiefs-Bills game over the total on Sunday. We've got more totals going on Saturday, our college total of the month, and Sunday's NFL total parlay. You get all 3 totals for just $15. And if you sign up before the weekend, we'll give you our free football TV winner going tonight. Call 1-866-896-1627. Let's look at that Dolphins-Jets game in Miami this week. The Dolphins ran 43 times last week against the Raiders, and I expect more of that this week against the Jets defense. They're not going to have too much success, however, in putting the pressure on Tannehill. The rookie quarterback's going to be tough to move the ball. Add in the Jets' back-to-back road situation here. They come off a game at Pittsburgh. They put up just 219 yards last week. Familiarity with division teams. QB Sanchez for the Jets really can't be trusted to move this team consistently. I see a low-scoring game here, and that's our free play this week. The Dolphins and Jets game under the total. Let's look at some technical and trends in this game as well. 12-4-1 under the total in the Dolphins' last 17 games overall, and the under is 22-8. In Dolphins games last 30 times out in the 30 games when they come off a straight-up win by margin. Play the Jets and Dolphins game under the total. Again, call 1-866-896-1627. You get 3 totals for just $15, 1 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Make the call, 1-866-896-1627. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Jay. Go get him. This weekend, Falcons and Chargers. Jim just talked about the Falcons, and I agree with everything he said. The Chargers, meanwhile, Chip, they're finally under the radar. The expectations are not there for this San Diego team, and they've started off in an encouraging fashion. An okay win at Oakland. I don't think they played great that game, but got the win over what looks like it might be a really bad Raiders football team. And then a very good performance on Sunday. I thought the Chargers were actually one of the better teams on any field on Sunday. I think North Turner might have something with this team. And early impulse for me, I don't finalize my NFL stuff till Friday, so I'm not locking myself in anything. But off what I've seen so far, San Diego's a winner in this football game, Chip.
Well, Dave, both these teams come out 2-0 and against the number, and I guess straight up as well, right? So the thing is, the Chargers beat the Raiders, who absolutely were disgusting opening week. I mean, this is a really bad football team. They couldn't snap the ball back to a punter, a kicker, or anything functional. They were so bad that they got crushed by Miami last week. And then they played, last week, the Chargers played what might be actually the weakest team in the NFL to date, the Tennessee Titans. I mean, this Chris Johnson in 2 games has a total of, 19 yards offensively total? I mean, this team looks so incompetent. And so maybe, if you look at it in that regard, who have the Chargers beaten? I think that maybe this is all false bravado, though they have covered 6 of their last 7 games dating back to last year. And there's always something to be said about a team that's streaking against the points, because momentum, breeds confidence, and they may be coming out there playing really well. Like Jim said, Atlanta wins in spite of themselves last week. They may be without Turner this week because of the incident, the DUI, him getting stopped. Under normal circumstances, my gut, and I'm not saying this would be a priority play for me at all, would be to hedge toward Atlanta, but without Turner in this situation here, I virtually have to throw this game out, because I would like to be able to keep the ball out of Phillip Rivers' hands, and I'd like to see them, Matty Ice, control the ball and them, dish it all over the place. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, because without Turner, I think that dramatically changes the Falcons' offense. So I see this as a really tough call. For me, it's a no play.
Hey, Jim.
I'd like to say something about that, Dave. We have to put in the fact that Atlanta played on Monday night.
Yep.
And they got to fly 3,000 miles to go play San Diego. That's a tough thing to do. And last week, even with Turner in the lineup, Chip, and you mentioned him a lot in your commentary, they only had 67 yards rushing. That's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
And they didn't rush the ball that well in week 1 against Kansas City, and their defense hasn't shown up either. Now, the Chargers ran the ball for 148 yards last week, which is much better. Now, the one point that you brought up, well, you made up several good points, but the one point you brought up that I really don't know what the hell to make of, San Diego played 2 horrible football teams. I mean, we got some bad teams in this league, and you could throw Jacksonville in that mess as well. But Tennessee hasn't shown up, and the Raiders got annihilated by Miami, who obviously also is thought to be a pretty bad team. So I don't know quite what to make of how good San Diego is. But the fact with the travel and the fact that they haven't run the ball very well so far, I give the rushing offense an edge with San Diego. I give home field an edge with San Diego. And the travel issue, where San Diego's sitting at home, and they haven't had really much travel at all, because the first week they just had to go to Oakland.
Yep.
So they've been pretty much home the whole thing since preseason. That's a big advantage, I feel. So probably San Diego's the right side in this game.
Well, that's the side I'm looking at right now, at least. I think this Charger team is under the radar right now and might be better than people thought they were going to be. Let's wrap it up with a best bet and also a recap of what we've got going this weekend, special offers that everybody can take advantage of. Jim, let's fire it up again off the big 2-0 on the high rollers last weekend, and 2 more really big plays coming up in Saturday for college football.
Well, these high roller platinum plays, Dave, are really big for me. I play them strong. I sell them for $500 a piece online, and I don't really offer them much at a discount. So I got 2 of them on Sunday. You can have both for $29 at 1-866-841 1655. I also have two of them on Saturday. This is a really good Saturday card, by the way. I'm kind of excited about the college card. And I have two of the platinums, high roller platinums there as well. And you can have both of those for $29 as well. And if you sign up early, I have a high roller bonus that's going tonight. So make sure you make the phone call. You get this 5 big plays involved here. You got Saturday, Sunday, and you got today. 1-866-841-1655.
Jim, what about a best bet, Jim?
All right, well,
hold on. Wait a minute.
All right.
Jim's got to get his best bet in there.
Oh, I thought you said
okay,
best bet.
so you're going to nail me down to a best bet. Okay,
Absolutely.
we talked about two games here. So we're going to bet against Roger Goodell. That's my best bet. just peace. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with San Diego. I'm going to take San Diego because of all the factors that I mentioned in my analysis.
All right, Chip, we just keep saying this every week, and why not? It's a good thing, and it's actually happening. The top plays, sensational. Notre Dame, Utah, and the colleges, big play of the Seahawks on Sunday for you, and now some major stuff, and that word major actually comes into play in one of these games.
And we had the Monday night winner with Atlanta. We had Green Bay on Thursday, and even snuck in with UNLV on Friday night. Now, I've got more of the same in store for everybody through Monday, including Thursday night game between the Giants and the Panthers, as well as the college game, and 3 big plays on Saturday, including the Notre Dame-Michigan State winner. Sunday, we're going to have my NFL Major Mover game of the month. You don't want to miss this. And Monday night, of course, all of it, the whole kit and caboodle for $19. Like you said, we're at 67% since the preseason in NFL action, and the percentage hasn't dropped at all. We just keep hitting 4-2, 4-1, and we're looking to do more of the same this week. So give me a call at 866-841-1665. You get Thursday through Monday for only $19, including the big triple plays on Saturday and Sunday's NFL Major Shocker Game of the Month. $19 at 866-841-1665. And, Jim, I'm glad you didn't come with St. Louis because I'm using Chicago as my best bet on the program here. I still think that it's time for the Rams to have a little shortcoming here and the Bears to regroup after that beating they took on national TV last Thursday. I think Chicago wins this one handily.
Well, we'll go with the consensus on the San Diego side among Jim and myself. I think the Chargers have a good chance to be 3-0. Last week, everything went right, and that's the way it's going to be this weekend. I've had some great Septembers in the past, so why not one more? 13-2 overall on all my service plays in football last week, and that started on Friday and ran through Monday. And we're going to keep it rolling with an under-the-hat triple header going on Saturday in college football. 3 big games, only $15. The sooner you call, the sooner you start winning, because if you call me today, I've got a high roller play going tonight that's going to be yours included, no additional cost whatsoever. So make that call right now to 1-866-896-1629 and get yourself geared up to go 3-0 on Saturday. I mean, that's definitely something that's going to put money in your pocket because you can play these a variety of ways, individually, round robin, parlay them together. And win some money. This is your best opportunity to win on Saturday. 1-866-896-1629. And 2 quick notes, by the way, for those of you with cell phones. Is there anybody who doesn't have one? You can get free winners from Jim. That's right. Yours is missing right now. Free winners from Jim and myself on a daily basis. Text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131. You get Jim Feist Daily Free Play. Text Cokin, COKIN, to 313131. You get my free play on a daily basis. It's simple. It just shows up in the morning on your cell phone. You go play it and win a little more money. That's going to do it for the pro version of Proline. Don't forget to check out the college version that's online as well. Jim, myself, and Fairway Jay will be back with you on Tuesday with our NFL recap show. Have a great weekend, everybody.